How do we build an emotional intelligence system around us? To understand this, I have created a 4-point hack which each one of us can implement in our daily lives. The first point being observation. Second being acknowledging and learning. Third is implementation. And the fourth point is placement. What do these points mean? In our daily lives, try and acknowledge and understand and observe what are the emotions that you go through. Why and when does something make you angry? Why and when does something make you happy? Just observe the emotion passing through your mind. You do not have to react, do not have to say anything to anyone, do not have to do anything. The idea is to simply observe. This is the most difficult part because as individuals, it's very difficult for us to observe our own emotions during an act. When you practice this part, it might take you 4 days, it might take you 7 days, it might take you 10 days, or it might even take you just a single day. But the idea of observation of your emotion is the first step towards building your emotional intelligence. When you have mastered this, the second step is acknowledging and learning. Try to understand what this emotion is doing to you. When you get angry, what is happening within yourself? What do you want to tell someone? How do you feel about yourself? How do you feel about the other person around you? This is an important part because understanding, acknowledging your own emotion is never easy. How do you acknowledge something when you are in the scheme of things, when you are in the moment, in the action? You need to be the third party, an outsider. You need to detach yourself from this emotion to understand it better. Just acknowledge it, appreciate, accept that you have got angry. Appreciate and accept that you have got jealous of someone. Appreciate and accept that you feel bad for someone. The moment you start acknowledging, it becomes much more easier for you to go into the next step, which is of implementation. Implementation is how do you control and not act on the emotion that is being played on you. There is a stimuli, there is a stimulus which has hit you. Now that stimuli is asking you to create a response. This is a part which meditators, gurus try to inculcate within themselves and within the disciples. I am no guru, but I am only telling you or asking you to move your action towards your response. That response, that moment between your stimulus and the response, as very famously mentioned by Dr. Viktor Frankl, is the power in your hand which you have to control. That response decides your fate. That response decides the destiny you hold. That response decides the world that will act after your response comes out. The fourth step is placement. Once you have mastered the art of observation, acknowledgement and learning and implementation, how do you bring these three elements together to place it in your daily lives? When do you use these methods? When do you use these actions? The common arenas are societal beliefs, societal diktats that go around us. Place the emotional intelligence to those thoughts. Technology when it plays around you, artificial intelligence when it's trying to generate a behavior out of you, when it is trying to connive you into something, when it is trying to draw you into something. You need to place that system of emotional intelligence in those areas. And it's very important that you go through each one of these steps regularly and daily and make it a habit. That is the time when you detach yourself. As human individuals, the most difficult part is when we do not accept that we are wrong. We do not accept our own emotions. We create a bias within ourselves. We create reasoning within ourselves that our actions are the absolute right actions. We have done nothing wrong. But when you start observing it as a third party, you would see the flaws that your emotions carry out. So go ahead, try this out, practice it in a daily life like I mentioned, and do get back to me with your results.